Hello to everyone of the sign of Aries. This is Zaida Velgara from Becoming I Am, here to give you your message for July 2026. I hope you enjoy it. Now, for all of you guys that are newcomers to this channel, let me explain a little rundown of how I do the things. I like astrology. I actually think that that's what people are reading when they're reading the tarot, but they're interpreting it based on their own personal experiences. So based on that, I usually take about 3 to 4 events in the month, and I read it using oracle and tarot and sometimes charms to let you know how the energy is going to affect you specifically and what you should be looking out for. I only do one reading per language because I do another one in Spanish for each zodiac sign a month. And so if you like that stuff, just keep in mind that that is what the channel is all about. If it's not yours, don't take it. And if you feel the need to take it, then wonder if you're feeling triggered, why it is that it's triggering you. Because this is all about healing and a channel to help you awaken to the patterns of behaviors that you might be out of alignment for. So keep that in mind when you're looking at this. The first thing we're going to be looking at is next week, Tuesday-ish, July 7th. July 7th, Neptune will go in retrograde in the sign of Aries. Why is this important? Because this energy will be influencing us till December 12th. And the last time it happened, it was in the Civil War in the US of A. And so that, if you're interpreting it as external being the same as internal, it will be an internal tug of war within yourself too. Parts of you wanting something to continue and parts of you knowing that it should be let go and having that shouldn't I feeling going in your head over and over again. Mind you, if should have already started triggering you, just saying shoulda, woulda, coulda, but should have already started triggering you on Monday, as we had that full moon in Capricorn that usually makes us see what we're kind of tied down to. And then it also came with the Mercury retrograde in Cancer at the same time. So this Mercury retrograde is not about only about problems with communication, yada yada, whole mess of stuff. It's not that. It's not a problem with the communication externally. This is a problem with your internal communication, where you're starting to realize where you've been self-sabotaging. So Aries, and this is super important because this influence of Neptune and the Great Reset, it's all on your sign. And so this is going to be big, a big month for you, and it's going to be extremely triggering. I want to see what's going to trigger you. Some kind of graduation. So you can move forward. This makes me laugh, this combination that flew out, because it's the Virgen de Guadalupe, which is a miracle. And then the heavens part and the angels sing Gloria, because you got the choir. So, I mean, when I'm telling you that this graduation and you're moving forward, it's literally, I mean, a miracle energy. So this can be spiritual and this can be physical, but it's like you're finally catching it. Like you're finally learning the lesson, you're finally stopping a pattern, you're finally going in the right direction. It's a big finally on this. And when I see the choir of angels, I usually think it's all your ancestors and everything saying, "Oh my God, she figured it out." Look at the full moon shows up. It started in the full moon. I done told you something hit you on the full moon that was like, oh my flipping God. I was interpreting people incorrectly because I was totally living in that mindset of what I grew up in, or I was totally shooting myself in my own foot, thinking I'm playing small when I should be more. I'm the one blocking the blessings in my life, etc., etc., etc. It's a big wake up call. I think you finally graduated with a million that you need to graduate for. Okay. This split on two different directions. So on this side that's turned over and I couldn't see, we have the lady sitting in the chair with her dog, which tells me it's a period of finally feeling peace. So this is actually not going to trigger something terrible in you. It's going to trigger this energy of calm. And the reason it's calm is because you finally broke through some kind of really hard cement blocked ceiling, and you're taking your first baby steps into a new reality. So somebody here overcame, and this is not a person they overcame. This is themselves they overcame in the sign of Aries. And it is like a belief system that was not just held by you, but it was held by all the generations before you. So I'm talking to a person that they came from a toxic dynamic household that has patterns that they have continuously repeated, and their family has repeated, and they have families before that repeated. And because it's a toxic family dynamic, there is the healer. So you could have been the one that's trying to help everybody to keep peace, to whatever. There is the villain, which is the one that wants everything, does everything, and manipulates everything. And you would have always had the victim, the one that everything bad always happens to. And you just kind of go through these dynamics. You can be, at one time you can be the healer, then you can be the villain, and then you can be the victim, and then you just keep going through this like endless cycle of BS until you figure out, I just don't need to play this game anymore. Hello. But it seems easy when you're on the other side of it, but when you're through it, no, you're lost. You're lost in somebody else's game labyrinth. All right. So, and like I said, it's a miracle. They never thought you were going to be able to get out of this mind F that they put you in. And whoever they is, I don't feel like, even though there might have been human players to this, I think this was a lot bigger than that. Okay. But keep in mind, whoever put you in this mind labyrinth will have to suffer the same mind labyrinth 1,000 times 1,000. Wow. We're starting off with the 7 of Cups. And there's confusion, but it's not bad confusion, because as you're graduating from this new thing, the confusion is more about what direction do I go now into, because I have options. 8 of Cups in reverse, because you're still not 100% walked away from old frequencies. 2 of Coins, and it's going to take a little bit for you to balance things out. So the beginning of July is going to be something where you're like, oh my God, the confusion is gone. Oh my God, I have all these options in front of me. I don't really want to walk away from all of them. There's some that I still might want. And then there's this energy of, how am I going to juggle this out? Wow. We're seeing the Ace of Coins, and it came out sideways. I'm going to move it up, but that is talking about something that you're going to be investing in. 5 of Cups. And as you're investing in this thing, which is going to be good for you, it does mean that you're going to have to let some of these cups go. So I think that it's good that you're kind of in a pause and not taking like really quick moves and stuff, because since you're just getting over, like, I want to say, a toxic mindset that had you in a negative loop, you can't really trust your judgment 1,000% at this moment. So the fact that you're taking a moment to kind of figure out, what do I really want to stay with and what do I not want to stay with? It's actually a very wise move. Also, I do feel like something that was like 3 people celebrating because they got you stuck in this loop, blah 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 situation, because there is 3 people here. I'm like a party of 3, right? A triangle. And it can be more people, but there's 3 center people that creates this triangle. They're also going to be not too happy about the fact that they're going to lose you. Ace of Swords, the truth. And again, we have the 3 of Swords. And do you see how the little ghost, he has, his heart is broken because his mind is having like feelings of sadness? I can tell you that I would, in the month of July, at least these first couple of months of July, don't make any solid decisions. Like, don't make a yes or no answer, so something or whatever. Don't make a decision or anything about any person, place, thing, or energy, because at this moment, you're still in the process of figuring this whole thing out and you're not 100%. And there's a lot of, you still have some of the old programming in your head, so you will feel guilt or uncertainty about certain decisions. We have the energy of a strong block, the Nine of Swords with the Strength card, that you using your prudence, I call it prudence when it's the Queen of Pentacles, because she is wise about how she's going to spend her time, energy, effort, and her material assets. And you also had the Hangman energy, which feels like the energy of you use your prudence to take the time to think things through. I do see an energy of things balancing out and the energy of a lot of options that will bring you joy in different directions. And I do see you moving into calmer waters, and it's going to come pretty quickly. But the beginning of July just kind of feels like being paused in a moment, in limbo, because, you know, once we start thinking differently, we need a moment for everything to reset in our internal, I want to say our internal compass to reset, so that we can actually find our true north, if you understand what I mean. So that being said, we're going to talk about the next thing, which is July 14th. July 14th, there is a new moon in the sign of Cancer. And people usually try to do things that have to do with foundational beginnings and stuff like that during this moon. But this one is very different. This is not about let's make a wish. This is more about, let me show you more of the things that are broken in your foundation, because the new moon in Cancer is being influenced by the Mercury retrograde in Cancer that I told you is revealing things. And because it's a new moon, it's talking about things that are hidden. Like, I would call it black magic, things that are negatively influencing your life because of gossip, because of actions, because of the world, because of whatever, that you can't see. Like, the bottom of the iceberg is this new moon Cancer in Cancer that is keeping your foundation like corrupted or messing up your foundation or whatever. And the thing is that besides the Mercury being in Cancer, making you see that, you also have the sun making friends with a conjunction with Mercury. So it's like, literally, it's like instead of using a flashlight, somebody put like this huge strobe light, and now you can see everything, the most tiniest detail of the things that have been blocking you. This can be presented as people. This can be mindsets. These can be things that are around you. And this can be habits. And so I am seeing like a big wake up call, and it might trigger some people very negatively. In this case, I don't know why, but I'm feeling like it's not going to trigger you as much as it's going to trigger the people that are around you. And they're going to seem a little crazy. It's because it's hard to see the truth. Nobody likes the truth. It's like that you can't handle the truth energy. So let me see about this 14th of July. I wanted to say this 4th of July, which today is the 4th of July as I'm doing this reading. I'm like, something might be triggered today that will trigger a big event on the 14th. I hate this card because this is the woulda, shoulda, coulda energy. Should have been done, dragging on, already over, denial. Then we have what if. I swear it's the would have, shoulda, coulda energy. Regret, over analysis, features, imagined futures. So this is anxiety. I want to know if this is you or somebody else. Oh, look at this. Then we have two that flew out, which I only wanted one, but this wasn't love. Fantasy crashes, truth exposed, done hoping. And only when convenient. Use for attention, emotional utility, and no depth. I'm going to tell you something. As I was pulling these cards, I feel like this is the people who are going to be approaching you in July during this moon. You're going to start facing a lot of people that are facing the music. I don't know what it is that you do, but you're going to be talking to a lot of people that are going to be facing the music. And it's like, whoever this is, these people that are going to be afraid, because I don't feel it's one. Okay. I just touched the microphone. I don't feel it's one. And what I'm seeing here is this energy where this person is like, I thought this was over. I thought I already fixed this. I thought I didn't have to deal with this anymore. And what it is this person or these people or these energies that are around you, they are sad because they had expectations for a future. And I tell people, expectations are great if you see the good and the bad possible expectation. Like, this is how it's going to feel like, and this is how it's going to work out, and this is how it's going to be if everything goes to shit. And if everything goes to shit over here, my next steps will be doing this. Okay. But if they also think about, oh, and if everything works out how I'd like, this is my expectation. But if you're only and the only thing you're focusing on is the positive, what you're seeing here is regrets. You know, that tattoo that says regrets instead of regrets. Regrets. And this feeling of soul crushing disappointment when you finally realize that whoever this is that they were holding on hope to, if it's a job, it's a person, if it's a country, it doesn't fucking matter. I'm sorry. But it doesn't flipping matter. Whatever it is, right? Once like that cold ice cup of water, a bucket of water falls on top of you, and you realize that you were being played. That's what this feels like. So somebody's gonna realize they were being played the entire friggin' time. That what they were hoping was gonna happen was never gonna happen, and that they were just pawns in somebody else's game. So this energy is interesting. I don't understand why I'm seeing it, but you see, this is like an atomic bomb falling on top of these people's heads. And do you see how there's three? There's three here. That keeps seeing the three. 1 second. Sorry, I had to pause the video. One of my babies needed some help. But what I'm seeing here is that an atomic bomb is going to hit somebody's head. Like they're fine. Like it hits them so hard that it's going to flatten out anything that was created in their reality. And it's like a very strong wake up call, and it's going to hit depression really strong. So somebody around you, and it's at least three people, because I keep feeling that three energy, strong depression. Two of Swords, because they were blocking a belief system. They were blocking a truth. Queen of Wands, about some kind of female that was explosive, that was a loner, that thought about only herself. Ten of Swords, and that's going to create a situation where they feel stabbed in the back. And Nine of Wands, and that like their future has been blocked. And then we have the Five of Wands, and that's going to make them angry, explosive, kind of like confrontational. In the bottom of the deck, we have the Page of Swords with the Fool card and the Tower card with the Five of Wands. I mean, that is just repeating the same flipping thing. Then they're going to feel like they were naive and foolish and stupid. And they're going to feel like their whole world is coming apart, and that nobody loves them, nobody wants them, that they're abandoned from the whole reality. This is fucking hard ass. explosion. It feels like they're gonna feel like they were taken for granted. Like the relationship or whatever it is that they were hoping that they were going to create was all an illusion, and it has already met its expiration date. This is this is this is harsh. Look at this. And this card drew my attention because I realized it had a crease. And like I don't know why it has a crease, but it has a crease. And in the other side it says love bombing, intense start, sudden withdrawal, and confusion. And that's what I'm seeing. It's like they're going to realize that whoever they've been dealing with is narcissistic, that they were love bombing them, and now they're going through the cycle of discardation. They're being discarded. And why is this important to you? Because these individuals are around your energy field. You know what? This is what I'm going to find out. Not this one, this one. What is it that universe wants you to do in this situation? Because it sounds like you're hearing somebody else's drama, but I want to know, what is it that you're supposed to do here? We have unfinished symphony. You have some kind of unfinished business with these people. Regeneration. You're supposed to help them after this is all over to come back and put the pieces back together. And yang energy, and so they can reclaim their masculine action energy. I feel like you're supposed to take them out of their really ugly depression. I don't know what kind of work you do, but this feels like something in mental health. This feels like something in group homework. This something like maybe you're a caretaker. This can be hospital settings too, like hospice care, or some kind of setting where you're helping a person cope with the news that they have like a terminal illness or stuff like that. Um, yeah, this feels harsh. I mean, whatever is coming, that's gonna explode around the new moon, it's nasty. Okay, last thing we're going to talk about is July 26th. July 26th, there's a lot going on. This is why I only picked 3 events and not 4. First, Saturn goes retrograde in Aries until the 20th of December. Why is this important? Because with Neptune going retrograde in the beginning of the month, and now Saturn going retrograde in the end of the month, what we're seeing here is the return of the Great Reset that happened on February 20th. On February 20th, around the month of February, you started feeling like you know who you are and what you're supposed to do in this world and what you're meant to move forward in this reality. And this whole time is you actively working in the things you know you should work on, right? Like getting that education, and applying for those jobs, working out, whatever it is that you want that it identifies this persona for you. You were doing all that part, the part that is in the 3D, I can see it. But starting this cycle until December 20th, you're going to work on the shadow aspect of it. This is subconscious stuff, like your subconscious belief systems, your subconscious energies. Okay. And why is this important? Because and this is important, although you might be working with somebody external, okay, everything in this game has nothing to do with the external. It has everything to do with the internal. The fact that these people around the new moon energy is going through a depression, like an atomic bomb is hitting them, realizing that they were just being love bombed and they're not important, right? This is something that hurt you also. And that in the process of you helping them get out of that darkness, you are also healing that inner child inside of you, where though you human self, your 3D adult self, is kind of okay with a situation, your inner child still needed some healing on it. Oh my God, this is making me emotional. I'm feeling it now. Um, so you're actually, I want to say, going back in time and correcting your timelines by closing the door to this energy. And so this this is the first time I talked to somebody about this. So this must be important for you, my Aries. And well, it is, because this is all about you. This is like the Great Reset is all in the energy of Aries. It's taking your divine masculine energy and taking authority. And this is all removing the masks of the lies that you have told yourself, because you needed to tell yourself those lies when you were younger, because you needed to survive. But now you can take care of yourself, and now you don't have to accept those lies as your reality. This one's heavy, Aries. I'm going to be honest with you. This is heavy. You're taking care of others. This doesn't feel directly on you, but it is directly on you. And then the last thing that happens this time that is crazy important is the changing of the nodes. And the nodes in the astrological wheel is kind of like the nodes on planet Earth. They're the magnetic pull of the wheel. So what does that mean? That means that the north node is where we're trying to move. So that's where the energy is trying to move. And so it's embodying the positive aspects of these signs. One is Pisces. That's the old world, because Pluto used to be in Pisces. And so the old world. And now Pluto is in Aquarius, which is the new world. And we're moving from Pisces to Aquarius. This is an 18-month cycle. It's not going to stay there, but it's like pushing you there. Okay. And the difference is the Wizard of Oz and the Green Witch from Wicked. Okay. That's the difference. Where Pisces was always told that it was a very intuitive sign. It was not an intuitive sign. It was a sign that was able to see micro expressions in people and read somatic energies and interpret things based on their previous traumas. So that's not a magician. That's just a very good investigator and scientist. So they're moving from there to Aquarius. And Aquarius is your inner child healed so that you can be the authentic star that you're supposed to be. That's the switch. And then if we were thinking about the south nodes, it's going from Virgo. And Virgo, in its shadow aspects, tend to over obsess with getting their plans made, getting ideas started, and they're stuck in idea island. Okay, so you might have found yourself working in many different things at the same time because you didn't know which one to pick, because maybe none of them was good for you. And you also had this energy inside of you where you said, no, but I need this piece of paper. Oh no, but I have to talk to this other person. No, but I need this other thing before you started something. And you're moving to Leo. And the toxic aspect of Leo is living in your ego. So imagine if this whole entire time you start realizing you've been played. And you were interpreting the world based on how you were played, and kind of pushing away people that were good for you, and um, pushing away people that were good for you, and drawing in people that were that toxic pattern that you had. And now you realize you were doing that because of what happened in the past. And the Achilles heel during this time is to accept the lesson and be grateful for the fact you overcame it and help things out, but not to become what they were. And so this energy is very strong. And that's the reason we're talking about it, because I feel it will be affecting you that way, where you will have the temptation to become them. Or the people you helping are. Because I feel like you are an evolved spirit. I feel like you're very temperance, and I do believe you should see the astrological reading that I did for Sagittarius, because I think this is important for you. And I said that, and I saw the beaver, which is balanced. I feel like when you figured this out, when you got the bomb thrown on your head, the reason you're helping these people out, right, is that when you got the bomb hit in your head, um, you chose to be better. And these individuals, when they get the bomb thrown in their head, they have to decide and choose to be better. Or they can choose to be the same problem, but they're going to continue that same negative pattern, you know? And so for you, you chose to be better. And when you learn a lesson like that, you first go through all the periods of growth and expansion, but to become the hierophant in something, to become the teacher in something, you need to be able to teach others what you learned in a way that they will understand. Because a good teacher is not one that just has information that they can repeat out and garbage out of their mouth. A good teacher is the one that can speak to you in a way that resonates with the pain that you have inside of yourself, and in the way that kind of looks exactly like something that you understand. And you can, though they might have understood it a different way, the way they explained it to you, you can understand what they're trying to tell you because they're talking to you in a way that you understand. And that's the hierophant. That's a truest hierophant, not one that has titles and like, oh, that's a fancy, look at, I'm the guru of the hill. It's the one that can talk to you in a way that makes sense to you, and it creates active change. It turns on that spark inside of you. And I think that's the reason why I'm telling you all this, because the process for you right now and what I'm seeing in the end of the month and all this kind of energy, it's an awakening of an inner hierophant, because finally a process is closing out in your mind and your spirit. You're finally closing the wound. And we have the energy of balance. And it says, you are being told that hard work is important, but so is quality time with your loved ones. The balance between work, play, family, and career must be maintained for overall wholeness and success. I know why I'm telling you this and why this card came out. If you are in the allied health, this is in the allied health career, right? Where you're helping a person through their process. This situation I'm talking about can have very strong counter transference. What does that mean? That means that because it looks a lot like what you experience, it can make you fall back into the mindsets, the pain, the fears, and the doubts that you went through in that experience. It can create burnout, and it can make you over obsess about a situation. And they're telling you this so you can maintain balance. And the way you're going to maintain balance is to do work to channel the energy, right? To kind of flush the toilet is what I like to call it, where you're removing some of that energy, but at the same time, connect with friends, connect with your social network, create that strong net, even stronger, so you have a place to go to just like remember that you're not in that survival mode anymore. You're thriving and you're fine. Okay. So I feel like I'm giving someone here some coping skills um as they're going to be confronting their own inner demons. But you already confronted this inner demon. You are facing it again so that you can see, I am healed about this. This isn't something that's going to drag me down again. Because sometimes we avoid things because we fear having to go through the same cycle again. And so let's see. Wow, the moon. I told you this is activated by this new moon that is on the 14th. So this period of time is all going to be talking about that moon. And there's another moon on the 29th, which is after the Mercury retrograde, that is also going to be very important for you. Wow, we have the sun. The moon and the sun is something eclipsing out, and the two of swords, the voices in your head, because in this deck, the swords are voices, or you're not going to see it, whatever. You're just going to have to trust me. This is what I feel that has been happening with you, is that you second guess yourself a lot of your intuition. There's like a yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And the reason you have that is because you still had this wound. Like there was a part of you that didn't want to believe that whatever this is was as bad as it was. And what this is doing is kind of telling you, yeah, it was, and it fucking sucked, but you grew out of it. And now you're teaching another person to grow out of it so that there's no more yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. There's an eclipse of the stagnation when it comes to the way you think, because I feel like your manifestations have taken long to appear because you were of double mind and many things that you were doing. Shut up. The Seven of Voices, the Seven of Swords, the things that were lying to you, Nine of Materials, which is the Nine of Pentacles. Then you're finally free. You're independent. Your freedom is here. And then we have your freedom from the confusion, Seven of Cups, but it's also then options start popping up. Why do the options start popping up? Because you're entering into the energy of the Emperor. And isn't that the energy of Aries? Your true essential energy is awakening. And we have the energy of the Queen of Cups with the Wheel of Fortune. This is important too, because I feel like you would avoid going really deep into subconscious programs and into yourself, because there were so many things that you had the door closed for, right? Because you're like, that's too hard. And if I open that, I need to admit that this was not okay, that this person wasn't okay, that they were malicious, that there was malicious intent, that they really didn't care for me. They just loved and bombed me, and whoever they is. And I think you avoided going really deep just so that didn't hurt. And I feel like this situation is going to give you that strength where you can go deep all the freaking time. And the reason you can go deep is because you have the Wheel of Fortune. You can cycle through these emotions really quickly. It's kind of like water off a duck's back is how you guys say it in English. And so it's kind of like when something hits you emotionally, it just slides off of you because you've gone through all the things that would make you sticky. I tell people all the time when I do energy healing is the reason why I mention things that you need to address and heal. And even when I do readings for people, the reason I'm talking about the one thing that you need to heal, work on, whatever. And when I do tarot card readings for people, I tell them all the time, I don't want you to tell me what is happening in your life. This is for the hour-long readings. The ones that are shorter, because it's just a question answer thing, I tell them what kind of questions you would like to have answered. But in a normal tarot card reading that I'm an hour with a person, I'm telling them, I don't need you to tell me what is wrong with you. I need you just to feel and allow yourself to be open for me to kind of really feel into your energy space and see where you have pieces in you that are Velcro-y. Because energies, like malignant energies that are around you, stick to you because they are the opposite side of the Velcro. And so they swim around in the everything and they try to find a person that has the Velcro that they can stick onto. And then you become it and it becomes you until you heal it. And the sticky part on you no longer exists. So it has no choice but to keep floating away. That's what I'm seeing here, where the last sticky part in your energetic field, and I'm just saying last now because I think that we continue to do these cycles over and over again. But once you figure out how to do it once, these periods like go so much faster. The last sticky part of you is getting away, and this thing that is stuck to you have to float away because it cannot. And it's funny that I keep wanting to do like this because it depends on the type of energy, but many of energetic attachments do look like octopuses. So octopi, right? But what I'm seeing here is you balancing out this feels like, and this is why I keep telling you that you can potentially look into the Sagittarius reading, because this feels like the embodiment of temperance. So good for you. But it is going to be kind of a hard month because you're going to be confronting an inner shadow. I hope this helps.